Just last hour, the House Oversight Committee released those 33,000 pages of Epstein-related documents the Justice Department provided last month, most of which appears to be already public information. Our team is currently going through those files. We will bring you any important updates. NBC News is reporting that this sudden decision comes as GOP leaders are trying to stave off an internal Republican revolt over those files. This afternoon, Republican Congressman Thomas Massie filed a discharge petition, which could force a floor vote compelling the DOJ to release all of the Epstein files if it obtains 218 signatures. The Epstein controversy is likely to dominate Capitol Hill as Congress returns from their 5-week recess. Earlier, survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's abuse met privately with Speaker Mike Johnson and members of the Oversight Committee ahead of the highly anticipated press conference tomorrow. Here's how some of the Democrats described that meeting.
Jeffrey Epstein is dead, but his hurt and his harm is alive and well in the daily experiences of these survivors. Maxwell is incarcerated, but it is these survivors, these victims, who are still very much in jail.
It is very important that we believe these women, that we believe these survivors, we honor that, and that we work to bring them justice.
Former federal prosecutor Ankush Khardori is back with us. And joining us now, Spencer Kuvin, attorney representing several Epstein survivors.
Spencer, thank you for being with us. Ankush, thank you for staying with us. Spencer, can we start with you? Because I'm just wondering your take on the fact that a number of these survivors, many of whom have not made them, their names have not been public. Even now, a lot of these women are still private citizens. Tomorrow, they are going to become public names. I know none of your clients specifically are in the list of folks that are going to this press conference tomorrow or that met today, but your take on the fact that this is happening.
Well, first of all, I think it's about time. You know, when they started this entire committee investigation, the people they went to first were the perpetrators. It made absolutely no sense. If they really wanted to get the information about what had happened, they needed to go to the victims, obviously, and advocates like myself that were working on behalf of these victims that lived through the prosecutions of these cases to find out what was going on. But a lot of these girls did not want to become known in the general public because this was a horrible act that occurred to them when they were children, 14 and 15 years old. They did not wish to make this a part of their life. Some of these women are now in their late 20s and early 30s, and they have put this in their past. They've tried to put it to rest. But the government has kept this slow drip of information for the past 20 years, basically re-injuring all of these young victims by continuing to put this in the public domain. Release the information, get it all out there so that we can all see it, and finally shut the door on this awful saga.
You know, Ankush, I want to delve a little bit into the politics here because that is also impacting how these victims are perceived and received by the public in a big way. And I think it's very interesting to watch Congressman Massie and Conor Ro Khanna sort of join this force together to sort of really push this thing. And it has annoyed the hell out of the Speaker of the House. And he thought that he could shut it down and cut it out of the political system by short-circuiting things in early August. We don't have to deal with this. To Massie's credit, and I say go, Massie, go, right? He's forcing the issue. Do you think the press conference tomorrow with the victims, survivors, standing there, now America sees the faces and hears the voices. Does that help push the momentum and the energy behind getting those 218 votes that Massie and Khanna need to get this petition done?
You know, it depends on what they say, right? And it depends on what...
Depends on what, who says?
The victims,
okay.
Right? And let me just say, you know, this is not a monolith, right? There are a lot of people in this group, and we have to be respectful of all of their interests, but there may be some, maybe we won't hear from them tomorrow, who do not want the public release of all of the Epstein files. I have to say, you know, I understand the politics behind it, why Massie would join up with Khanna on this. The problem with their bill is that it mandates the public release of all of these documents, to just put them on a website. And I am very skeptical of the notion, the premise, it seems, that so many people have adopted, that dumping all of these files into the public domain will somehow stop people from spinning up conspiracy theories or asking questions. It will just do more.
It will be searchable and it will be downloadable.
It's like WikiLeaks.
It will just feed more and more conspiracy theories. It will not. Look what happened with 9/11. 9/11. We had the gold standard of a commission investigate 9/11. There are still people who think that the government did it. There are still people. So conspiracy theories, like, you can't kill it off by just dumping all the documents onto the internet. I think it's a bad idea.
With respect to getting information out about something that clearly had serious ramifications for a lot of young women at the time.
Well, look, first of all, I'm glad to see that the victims' interests are once again sort of taking some priority here. But from my perspective, everything we've seen over the last 6 months, including the public polling, suggests that the public is interested principally in two different things. One is, what did the government actually do when it conducted its review of the evidence and released that very terse DOJ FBI memo saying Epstein committed suicide, there's no client list, we have nothing else to tell you. People were correctly sort of up in arms about it, including Trump's own supporters. And two, what are the references to Trump in the government's investigative files? According to the Wall Street Journal, he was briefed in May by Attorney General Pam Bondi that he was in the documents. And I'm not just saying this is in polling, half of the country thinks that he was involved in the crimes. So I think it's completely fitting for the public to demand and to get some answers at some point. I don't think they're coming anytime soon with the folks in the White House and the House Republicans running this. But I think that is a question that is very, very much on everyone's minds.
Spencer, I would add a third point to that.
I was going to add a third one too. Go ahead.
You can add a fourth, unless we're on the same page, which is, Spencer, I think there are a lot of folks that want to know what happened in Florida when Alex Acosta signed off on that sweetheart deal. And as much emphasis as there has been on these documents, Senator, can we pull up the calendar of everyone who's going to be giving depositions just in the next few months? On September 9th, you've got former AG Loretta Lynch. On September 19th, you've got former Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, which is the big one I want to circle in big, bold marker, because there are a lot of questions and a lot of information that he potentially has. If you were conducting that deposition, Spencer, what is it you would want to know from Alex Acosta?
100%. And respectfully, I've got to disagree with your guests. When it comes to the information that the victims want out, the victims want to know what happened. How is it that all of this credible information, all of the information that they told the police, that they told all of the FBI investigators, how is it that based on all of that information, Epstein ends up into this sweetheart deal? That's the information that the victims want out there. We want to know, and we want answers as to exactly what came down from the federal government at the time. And listen, this is not political. I've said this before on various different programs. This ranged through multiple different White Houses in keeping this information secret. It was all Democrats, Republicans alike. It didn't matter. Politics didn't matter to the victims. They want to know what was discussed behind the scenes with Alex Acosta and the Attorney General at the time to make the decisions they made to give him this sweetheart deal. That's what they want out. And they want the videos. There are numerous videotapes that the federal government has seized. They want those released so that we can see who else was a part of this conspiracy.